Welcome back to Drury University here in Springfield, Missouri. Hard to believe, but we are in Friday's Undisputed games at Nationals 2025. This is a girls 16 and under Undisputed National Championship game between the CHSM Crimson Knights and the West Michigan Hornets. My name is Paul Gilmore, joined by CJ Pomeroy. We want to thank you for joining us in the action as first tip is going to go into possession of West Michigan, and we're going to have a quick foul on CHSM.
And unlike yesterday's games here at Drury, that was a pretty quick whistle. We'll see if that continues on. I know yesterday that was a struggle for the Knights against the Trailblazers. They'll need to stay out of foul trouble if they want to become the defending national champion. Or I should say the repeat. They're already the repeat national champion.
And you'll notice a lot of these names were similar to names that were called last night in the girls 18 national semifinal, as backing it down, but no good, was Ellie Stonehouse, one of the all-region players for Midwest. Both these teams with 3 all-region players on their roster, so this court is loaded with talent.
Yeah, these two teams, dominant programs throughout the course of the season and the course of the last 2 years.
That jumper off the backboard a little too strong from Stonehouse. Rollo tipped the ball around, but it ends up back in the hands of West Michigan on the second attempt. Short. Quist in the corner, and that's going to be a traveling violation that is called on Addison Foster, another all-region player for West Michigan.
Paul, it just amazes me how quickly we get to Friday in these undisputed national championship games. The journey that these teams take to get to this moment, play on this court, in this environment, to call themselves the undisputed national champion.
Pump fake. Second attempt, no good, off the back iron from Quist, but possession will stay with the Hornets.
And I will say it every time that I possibly can. Jumping to block three-point shots is a very unwise decision.
We've seen a couple of big-time and one three-pointers this week, as the first points of the game go to Kylie Quist. She is one of the many that play up on the girls 18 team as well. This player, Lena Swadley, is also baseline jumper, no good from Rollo.
Good action from the Knights there, and there's Rollo for the pickup. Swadley, the rebound.
Couple of good looks inside for the Knights, no go.
Can't get it to fall.
Foster comes the other way. And this is Caitlin Foster, one of the 2 Foster sisters that are all region. Good offensive rebound is going to be no good from Ayers.
And the Knights will have to be careful on this wing perimeter defense. The Hornets so good from the outside. Well-coached, well-disciplined team.
Phoebe Stein for 3.
Picking up where she left off from last night.
Stein, the co-MVP of the Big South All-Region. And on the inbounds, West Michigan turns it over, stepping over the inline.
Phoebe has struggled all week long with getting that three-point shot to fall. And here last night and tonight, or this morning, she seems to have found her rhythm.
Now the Knights applying some pressure. Foster, step back three-pointer. To her left, a little too strong. Rebound controlled by the Knights, but not before it goes out of bounds.
And off of the Knights, I think. Yes. Interesting baseline out of bounds play there. I don't know if that was by design or if that was just the miscommunication.
It's a good point. We had some Hornet players almost all the way here at the volleyball line. Normally you stack low or do a box set or something.
Yeah.
Hornets do get it in bounds, though. Good pressure from the Knights.
And I know it's 11 o'clock in the morning. It's not the 8 o'clock game, but I still feel like maybe both these teams, nice turnaround.
Yeah, great turnaround from Ayers.
I feel like both these teams maybe right around 90% right now. I think it'll pick up the intensity here as the game goes on.
Three-pointer, too strong from Fleming. Quickly back the other way, West Michigan.
And Fleming will be kind of a secret weapon for the Knights if she gets that three-point shot going.
Good job by the Knights to knock that ball out of the hands of Foster. And then on the ensuing jump ball, possession will go back to CHSM. CJ, I wanted to ask you about this because, like we mentioned, CHSM Crimson Knights are in several undisputed girls games today, including the 18U. And several of these players, Rollo, Stein, Swadley, they play on that team. Is there any element of maybe saving some of the energy for tonight's game, or is it you go all out and then the 18U game is the 18U game?
Absolutely not. These coaches, when they put the players on the floor, they expect to get out there and win. There is no holding back. Now, if a game gets out of hand, I don't expect this game to get out of hand. The West Michigan team is amazing. But if a game gets out of hand, sure, they might make adjustments. But for the most part, exclusively, they're going to do two things. They're going to play hard the entire time, and they're going to play, oh, wow.
Wow, Ayers shot that from, I don't even know where. I was going to try to make a comparison. I don't know Springfield geography very well.
I think that
maybe
was
Stafford?
Yeah. Well, it could be Nixon where I'm staying this week. That was 27 feet out.
And she's clearly shown she's capable of hitting that. Last year's Undisputed, her and Rodimer put on a show from about that distance. So Ayers, just a sophomore, but one of the main players on their girls' varsity as well. Tough loss last night against HEA, but I'm sure she'll be ready for the third-place game today also.
Absolutely. These Hornets, they play with great aggression. And, dribble. Good save right there.
That was a good save, and then we're going to have a foul on Swadley, pretty far on the touchline.
Yeah, that was just a little too aggressive right there. And so for the Knights, expect them, they may do a zone press at times, but expect them to exclusively play man-to-man. They will not. That is something they teach program-wide from the younger groups up. You do not see a lot of zone within CHSM on the girls' side.
Good job that time from Rollo to knock away the entry pass. Tough pass on the inbounds to Ayers, and a little too strong for her.
And I'm sure the coaches for the Knights are going to... Oh, what a left hand.
Good job by Rollo. It went up on the right side with the left hand.
I think they're going to make sure Edith knows that she's guarding a varsity player out there, and if given space, Ayers will beat you. So I expect Edith will. She's a very tenacious defensive player. I expect her to close up the space here as the game goes on.
That jumper no good from Ayers after a good screen from Stonehouse. Stein coming the other way. She's going to stop and pop three. No good off the right side. Rebound West Michigan. They've done a good job rebounding on the defensive end so far in this game. As we approach the 1.5-minute mark in the first quarter, these teams tightly contested. West Michigan holds an 8-7 lead over CHSM. That ball is going to be denied and taken away. Rollo coming the other way. Rollo knifes through the defense, and Ayers hacks her on the shot attempt. That's going to be the first foul on Aubrey Ayers. Matter of fact, only the first foul for the Hornets. CHSM only one as well, so very clean game. But CJ, you love seeing games that are very tightly contested with good defense, but not a lot of fouling.
Yeah, and that really speaks a little bit to both the coaching as well as, I believe, we have just tremendous officials here at Drury University. They do, I think, a very good job of allowing players enough physicality to play the game, allow the game to have rhythm to it without things getting out of hand. And so I think it's a matter of good coaching and then just the tournament doing a phenomenal job of getting great referees.
That ball was taken out of the hands of Caitlin Foster. Meanwhile, Poppy Martin has checked in for West Michigan. On the drive, Swadley a little too strong. It rolled off the back of the rim.
Laney's struggling here a little bit.
They called that foul, I believe, on Eastray.
East.
Yep. That's good to know because I believe one of the games yesterday I said Eastray, so apologies.
So checking in for the Knights, and I think this is in This is kind of a reward for what she did in the fourth quarter for them yesterday against the Trailblazers in a hotly contested national semifinal. But Grace Orem, she brings so much energy to the court for the Knights defensively. And if you allow her an opportunity to shoot the ball, she will make it.
That shot, step back jumper from Foster, in and out. Rebound controlled by Rollo. Stein had it poked away, but not before she was bumped.
The Hornets, the one thing I've noticed about the Hornets, not only are they so well coached, they're so disciplined in how they execute their game plan, they're very fundamental in how they shoot the basketball. There you go, if you're Laney Swadley.
Yeah, Stonehouse got a little flat-footed on defense, and Swadley did a good job stepping around and putting in the layup. Knights lead 11-8, 10 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Need to make sure you have tight defense here. Don't give her space. She's already hit one from 27.
Ayers, step back three. Yes. And that's how we're going to end the first quarter, just like we started. CHSM 11, West Michigan Hornets 11. Second quarter action in all of the other undisputed games coming up after this intermission. Back inside the O'Reilly Family Event Center, girls 16U Undisputed National Championship game. Phoebe Stein left wide open, and she's going to connect on that every time.
Man, for the Knights, they have got to be happy to see that Phoebe has found her stroke again.
Foster tried to answer right back, but that's going to be a little too strong off the right side. In that first quarter, Jenna Rollo led the Knights with 6. Meanwhile, Aubrey Ayers, a couple of three-pointers, 8 points to lead the West Michigan Hornets.
What a great first quarter we had. Exactly what you want watching an undisputed game. It's a good body control from Swadley there.
Aisha Cox now in the game.
Wise
that corner
decision.
Three is good for Swadley.
Wise decision from Phoebe. Could have easily had a heat check shot, made the unselfish play, and Swadley rewards it. And now the Hornets on a 6-point deficit after that run by the Knights here. But Ayers, tell you what, she is such a phenomenal player. Can't give her any space.
Good job by Caitlin Foster on the drive. First points of the game for the MVP from the Midwest.
Yeah, that was great action right there from the Hornets. 2 in a row.
Swadley. Baseline jumper. Knights lead 19-13. Tough pass for Ayers. She has to save it out of bounds.
Thing is, she saved it right to Aisha Cox. And surprisingly, the Knights didn't get out and run in transition there. Aisha is typically one that wants to go.
And Swadley is just attacking the rim now.
Just constant. She's going to travel there.
Substitution for West Michigan. Hope Medema checks in.
The Hornets, not only, they want to win just because they want to be the national undisputed champion, but this is a chance for revenge after last year's loss in this same game to the Knights.
Hornets inbounding underneath their own basket.
So this is by design. We wondered in the first quarter, if it was a miscommunication, it is by design. They put 4 players out there at the volleyball line.
And dribbled on the sideline. Foster loses it. Possession goes back.
I would be curious to know what that action actually is supposed to accomplish. I'm sure there's probably a secondary action to it, maybe even a third action to it. But that's an interesting design. I've not seen that before.
Rollo got a little too deep. Swadley's going to take it up, float it off the back iron with the left hand. And then that's a couple of different times now they've got aggressive on the defensive rebound. That's going to be another foul on Swadley, her second. But that's the third time this game that I've noticed CHSM getting a foul about 90 feet from the basket.
Yeah, those are frustration fouls from Laney. I mean, it's understandable. She's going hard to the buckets, and these are shots that she normally makes, and they're not going in. And you want to get the ball back to redeem yourself, so to speak. But, again, you must adjust to how officials are calling the game. And almost every official, when they see you make a mistake and then they see you aggressively go to the ball, they're looking for the foul.
Good defense from the Knights. Their fans are fired up. And then we're going to have a turnover. As falling out of bounds was Addison Foster.
I think she tripped over her own feet trying to get position there. I don't have the luxury of replay, but what I saw, I didn't think her feet were completely set under her when she tried to make the catch. And that is not a good decision right there.
Foster in the corner. Trying to get airs going again, but Aisha Cox is guarding her.
And that is what you want if you're the Knights. You know, Aisha, she's off the bench. You're not looking to her for a lot of offense necessarily in this game. What you want is her energy, and you want her to be tenacious on the defense. And so putting her on airs, I think, is great. And sometimes when you put the smaller player on a larger player, and that smaller player is as tenacious as someone like Aisha is, that can be a very frustrating place to be.
So as we have a timeout from the Hornets, a 6-point lead for the Knights. Want to do a quick run through of how these teams got here. For CHSM, they beat Team USA in the first game 64-20. In the second game, they beat the Marion Hawks 53-32. And then yesterday, tough game against the Cincy Trailblazers. They won by 5, 39-34. Meanwhile, for West Michigan Hornets, they beat Victoria Cobras in the first game, 59-22. Then they beat the Thesa Riders, 55-31, before finally having a tough game themselves last night. They beat Fort Bend Eagles 54-50. So both these teams played a 4- and 5-point game yesterday.
And, you know, coaches feel better with blowout wins, but in reality, when you're playing highly competitive tournaments like this, and it's still fine to pick up the ball there. Yep. You need to be tested before you get to this game right here. You don't want to walk into this game not having been tested at some point in the week. So I did not catch the West Michigan game yesterday against Fort Bend. I know Fort Bend is a big shot right there.
Yeah, good three-pointer from Addison Foster. That was the first bucket in a while for West Michigan, but it still cuts the lead to just a one-possession game. Cox is going to fire up the three. No good off the back iron. Rebound Orem. That three-pointer from Swadley from Rollo, no good.
The one thing the Knights have to be careful of is becoming too dependent on the three-point shot early in their offensive set.
That shot, no good from Caitlin Foster.
Aisha's there to pick it up. Uh-oh.
Saved by Rollo.
A lot of team basketball here for the Knights. They're picking it up for each other.
Ball knocked out of bounds off the hands of Medema.
So what I was going to say is that I did not catch the semifinals yesterday for the Hornets, but I do know about the Eagles from FBCHA, and they're a very tough team. And so knowing that and then also seeing the game that the Trailblazers had against the Knights, those were tough games that they had to overcome in order to get here.
That time Rollo was left uncontested on the baseline. Ayers, good job of displacing and creating space underneath the basket.
And Phoebe wanted the offensive foul right there. And, you know, That's probably a slight 50-50 call right there, right? I mean, she did lead, I think, with that shoulder a little bit. I'm not so sure that the contact was enough to warrant the call, but I can definitely see where Phoebe is going to ask, hey, I thought leading with the shoulder was not allowed.
And we've seen in this game that for the most part, they're really letting the girls play. Not in a extremely physical way, but both teams playing good, solid defense. We haven't seen a lot of fouls. So I think in that 50-50 situation, you're more likely than not going to see the ref let that go. And then on the drive, Quist a little too strong. Offensive rebound off of her teammate.
Two teammates right there together. Couldn't corral it, though. The Knights, they've got two bench players out there right now. They've been playing with kind of two rotational players here for most of the game. Phoebe with the drive.
No good off of the back iron.
She's looking for a call, and I think Phoebe just needs to just play. You know, her shot is falling right now. She's a 16U district MVP. This is a tough team. I mean, it's going to be a slog out there. You just got to play through it all. Good discipline from the Hornets here. Continuing to try to run their action.
And that's going to be taken away by Rollo, and then she's immediately fouled by Medema.
I don't know if Hope was expecting the ball there or not. Or if her responsibility was simply to be the elbow player, maybe looking to set a screen.
It looked like the pass surprised her a little bit.
There's Julia Rollo. She'll pull.
That jumper no good. Good box out by Foster. Gets it over to Ayers. 30 seconds to go in the first half.
Got to learn here if you're the Knights. Kind of gave up that three-point shot to Aubrey at the end of the first period. Do not want to do that here with 29 seconds to play. I also think it's important offensively. They execute their offense. No need to force anything. Just work it until you get what you want. It's a good screen from Julia.
On the backside, that ball's going to be tipped away by Foster. That'll leave 10.8 seconds left on the clock for CHSM to look to get something going.
Kind of a fortunate deflection because you get an opportunity to run a sideline play here. They didn't exactly run what they wanted. Good move.
Good fake from
at the
Stein.
buzzer.
No good off the back iron. Up ahead, Ayers had the breakaway, but ran out of time, and that's going to do it after the first half of play. The CHSM Crimson Knights lead 21-18 over the West Michigan Hornets. Second half action to determine who is going to be our girls 16 undisputed coming up after this halftime intermission.
When it hurts, real time it. When it hurts, real time it.
Ouch!
When it hurts, real time it.
Welcome back to Drury University. 14 more minutes to determine who is our girls 16 undisputed. After the first half, not much separation between these two teams, just a 3-point advantage for CHSM. West Michigan steals the first possession of the second, and then we're going to have a foul down low on Rollo as Stonehouse was posting her.
And that's just one of those, you're not in position, she's trying to poke away. If you're going to do that, you can't put your hand on the back side of the back there, and that's what the referee got.
No good on the left hand from Stonehouse on the inbound. Knights coming the other way. Rollo thought about it.
Almost a turnover, but a good adjustment by Swadley to make that kind of a higher, softer pass over the top of the defense.
Swadley nearly lost the handle, but recovers.
And the Hornets in a two. It's hard to see. Is it if it's a 2? Yeah, it's 2-3. I believe. Yeah, it's 2-3. I believe. Good move.
That time Swadley stepped through the defense. She was bumped.
And they wanted to travel there, but, it was not a travel. She's able to, 2 big steps, but still 2 steps on the gather there. So
I didn't quite see it. Did they call that foul on Stonehouse?
2-5.
Yep, okay,
So
Stonehouse. Some games we have the fouls updated on the screen. Some days we don't. So.
Yep. Last night we had the Firebirds and the Hornets for the CHSM Flame game for the first quarter up on the scoreboard. But these college boards,
Errors.
Space.
We saw that in the first half. Any separation, she's able to knock it down, and that's not a good foul from Foster.
No, and that's the right call by the official there, because if you're going to get that kind of slap on one end, you need to be consistent with it. At least that's what the coaches are looking for. And kind of a choppy first minute and a half here for both teams.
That three-pointer in the corner, no good off the front iron. Rebound pulled down by the Knights. And then a traveling violation is going to be called.
Jenna got out of balance there. She was trying to pivot and drag that foot. Look for Edith to play pretty tightly here on Ayers. Ayers done a good job of just creating space, looking for shot opportunities.
That's been the scouting report on Ayers for obvious reasons. Both Cox and Fleming have been playing her really tightly since the first couple of three-pointers. She's still been able to find some opportunities.
Good breaks right there.
That time out to Quist, who misses it off the backboard.
Uh-oh.
Kind of fortunate for East to have that ball hit her legs and just drop soccer style.
The spin on that ball, and that shot was way offline. The spin on that ball was amazing. Let's see if someone can get some continuity going here.
Good look down low. We'll see if that foul was on the pass or down low on Stonehouse.
That is probably, they got it on Olivia East, and I think that is foul number 3. It is.
And Cox will check in for East.
Olivia's had a rough time the last 2 days. She's gotten some very quick fouls that have taken her out of the game early.
And that time, Quist unable to handle the entry pass. And CJ, you mentioned it. It's been a very choppy third quarter so far. Neither team on the board. And we're a couple minutes in.
At this point, I'm changing my word from choppy to sloppy, because that's really what this has been in the second half for both teams. The first half, looked really well. You get 21-18 at the end of the half. It was 11-11 at the end of one. Teams doing well. But here, it is mistake after mistake after mistake on both teams. So I don't know if it's, realizing that your season is coming down, to the end, right? 11 minutes of basketball left in the season for both of these teams. Someone's trying to be a national champion, and maybe that's creating a little bit of pressure. I mean, I wouldn't think so with these two teams, but again, just another, just struggling this morning.
I wonder if some of it too. We mentioned earlier in the first quarter how many games these girls have played this week. Several of them double rostered. You wonder if some of them might even be triple rostered. And so you get to the point on Friday where you might have been playing 10-plus games this week.
Yeah, it definitely can be hard on the legs there. The Knights able to come away with that rebound.
That time too strong from Quist. They had a breakaway, but that would have been a full length of the court football pass. Stein capable of making those, but she shoots it too strong from the left side.
Now we have not had any points here in the third quarter for either team. Now that's about to change because I just said it.
That shot no good from Foster. Offensive rebound.
Told you.
Is good, and that is Caitlin Foster.
Knights fans are probably upset with me because I said it.
So just like that, 1 point advantage for the Knights. Swadley driving, nice through the defense, hit the bottom of the rim. She gets her offensive rebound, and then she's going to be fouled in the midst of, oh, no, we're going to have a timeout before the foul. I think that could have gone either way, but fortunately for the Hornets, the timeout was called first. So it'll be Knights ball coming out of the timeout, 1 point lead. And CJ, if you're Coach Rollo and you're in the timeout with your girls and you've gone a whole half of a quarter without scoring, you know, what kind of conversation do you have? Is it X's and O's? Is it motivational? Is it a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of motivational, right? The girls understand the X's and O's. The issue here right now is settling yourself down, remembering who you are, remembering how you got here. It was playing good offensive basketball along with good defensive basketball. Defense I'm not so concerned about. Offensively, though, there's no rhythm to this right now. And a lot of it is there's really little to no ball movement. There's a lot of dribble penetration, but they're not shifting the defense from one side to the other. They're not getting the ball to the low post back out to the high. And so they're not making the defense move. For me, I like to think of it as music, and I am not musically inclined. But, you know, for me, I have always made the correlation to music in that every time you pass the ball to a teammate, you're stringing notes together.
That three no good from Cox. Good job on the rebound from Sietsma, who checked into the game. That time, Foster no good. Offensive rebound, Ayers.
Oh, that's a double. Oh, we're going to get an offensive foul.
On the screen, they're going to get Ayers.
I thought she doubled, but it looks like she instead set a wrong screen. And so yet again, even though Aisha was wide open on that last three-pointer, it was one pass and shot.
Stein fires up a three. No good off the back iron. Good rebound, Stonehouse. And unfortunately, the offense for both these teams in the third quarter, I don't know what genre of music it's looking like, but.
Well, that might, oh man, Aisha's going to get lucky there. That will not make the highlight reel.
Up ahead, Rollo. She's got a 3-on-1 underneath. And that is a shot put in from Cox.
First 2 points of the quarter after 5 minutes of play for the Knights. Aisha able to redeem herself after falling down.
Foster, deep three, banked it in.
It's about the space. The Hornets are not afraid to pull it. Obviously, the Knights aren't either. They've shown that here in this quarter, but the Knights are going to have to tighten up that perimeter defense.
In the corner, that shot is over the rim. Ayers coming back the other way.
Edith is a fairly decent shooter, and
through the hands of Foster. Substitutions for both teams.
I think it's a little bit of a struggle. You get to this gym. You know, I remember several years ago taking a team to the National Undisputed Championship game at the varsity level, and you get into the gym and you start looking at these college backboards, and that glass is so transparent. You can see right through it to the wall. You can see everything clearly behind the wall. It really kind of messes with your depth percentage as a shooter if you're not used to it.
That three-pointer from the corner, no good. Well, not only that, but just the combination of how cavernous the roof is.
Yep.
You get, a big or a feeling of you're on the big stage. And, yeah, you're right. As a shooter, your depth perception is affected because you're used to having a wall behind the basket, used to having a roof, maybe 15, 20 feet over your head. But you get in here, and it's almost like an airline hangar.
Yep. And it's a big court, too. It's got college paintings, right? Like, you've got the college three-point line, and as a shooter, you're so used to seeing the first three-point line and saying, okay, that's where I need to shoot from, but that's another foot and a half or so beyond the line that you're used to shooting. And so, I think both teams may be struggling a little bit with some of this.
Cox fires up the three. She's got some good looks, has not been able to connect. Ball will stay with the Knights. We're tied right now. The Knights have tied the game after trailing most of the first half. 51 seconds to go in the third quarter. It's not been a pretty one.
I expect the fourth quarter to be a lot cleaner.
That shot no good from Stein.
One thing for sure that we're going to see in the fourth quarter is a lot of urgency.
Quist fires up the three. That's no good. Ball ends up in the hands of Foster, and she's going to get the reach-in foul on Rollo.
That is a good foul, I think, right there from Jenna, keeping the player from getting that shot off.
Out top, Quist drives to her right. Stop and pop. Jumper is good. First points of the game for Kylie Quist.
Just a little too aggressive there on the on-ball defense. Knights are down 2. Just be patient. Find your opportunity. Take your shot.
Baseline jumper, no good. Rebound, Rollo. And they're going to whistle Cox for the traveling violation.
I thought that one was kind of clean. Was pretty clean, but
full court pressure applied by the Knights. Final 8 seconds. Not going very quickly.
Yeah, that's
going to be taken away. Cox is going to fire it up
short. She had way more time than she realized. More time.
Good defense to prevent the Hornets from getting a last-second shot. And that's going to do it for 3 quarters of play. The Hornets flip the script a little bit. They lead 25-23. Final 7 minutes left coming up after this intermission. Seven minutes to determine the undisputed national championship game, and we've had a great game so far. Not the highest offensive scoring game, but in terms of how tight the competition's been, it's just 2 points separating these two teams. That foul is going to be on Annalie Pays.
And actually, it's Annalie Marves.
Marves.
We got the roster wrong there. She's come a long way for the Knights this season. Annalie has played some really good minutes for them yesterday, able to help the Knights get to this game. And
tough floater for Foster, and it's going to stay with West Michigan.
And right now, the Knights have 3 players off the bench in the game. Coach Rollo looking for an injection of energy from somewhere. I expect there to be a lot of energy in this fourth quarter, Paul. I almost thought we could have had a offensive foul there.
I was looking to see who they're going to call that on. The ref hesitated a little bit and then put up the 1-5 for Swadley. Rollo is going to check back in, as is Fleming.
But expect there to be a lot of energy in the next 6.5 minutes. I mean, these two teams, they're playing to be the undisputed national champion. For the Knights, it's to be back-to-back champion for the Hornets. It's to redeem themselves from last year's loss in this game. And sure enough, you can see it. They're up 2, but they're going to press. They realize what's on the line here.
And that is stolen away by Quist, and she's going to be fouled by Cox. Couple of quick fouls in the quarter for the Knights. That's the third team foul in the first minute and 40 seconds. Or no,
first 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
Yeah.
I forgot it's 7-minute quarters.
Yep. That one was an oops. Aisha lost the ball, and then she was going for it, ends up falling over the player.
Tough feed inside for Ayers, and one.
Well, the one reason why you want to have hard games to prepare yourself for the championship is because you want the experience of knowing you can overcome it when it gets tough. And yesterday, the Knights were down 9 points late in the third, like less than 2 minutes or so in the third.
They're going to get Ayers for that reach-in foul. And good call, TJ. You talked about the consistency by the referees. They've been consistently calling that reach-in foul as the guards bringing up the ball.
And what almost got it to go there. And that's...
I believe they're going to get Stonehouse on that one, which should be her third. That's going to send Rollo to the line.
So this is important for the teams to realize is that the officiating has changed here in the fourth quarter. Now it's very much touch. We've got 6 fouls in the first minute. I don't know if we had 6 fouls in the first 3 quarters.
And Rollo knocks in both. 2 big free throws for her. Cuts the lead back down to 2. Up ahead quickly. Ayers to Foster. Looking inside. Ayers on Cox. No good. She came up short that time. Cox coming the other way.
Good decision right there. That was a very difficult pass, but Phoebe's able to control
on
it.
The drive. She puts it in. I like the decision by Stein, recognizing perhaps a little bit of basketball IQ that the whistle is tight right now.
Yep.
And so she attacks the basket.
And a timeout over here. Good timeout from Coach Martin. Yeah, I mean, all tied up here very quickly. The Knights were able to tie it up. You know, yesterday's game back, and every time it felt like the Knights might go on a run, the Trailblazers would somehow find a way to just kind of keep them at arm's length. And it wasn't until they got a huge 3 from Grace Orem late in the game it seemed to turn the tide for them. And now the goal is for both teams. If you get down 2 points or 3 points, you got to make sure that you stay in arm's length. You do not want to get down right now by more than 2 or 3 possessions, because with the way that these two teams play, 2 or 3 possessions could feel like 5 or 6.
And you don't know if it's, I don't know if you want to chalk it up to an anomaly or, again, more of tired legs, but both these teams able to light it up in a hurry. So kind of strange to have a second half that's so low scoring, but we'll see if that changes in the final 5.5 minutes.
I definitely think we're going to see some change because these teams realize what's on the line. I mean, this isn't just any game. This is the game that you prepare for all season long, from the very first practice to your last practice. This is what it's all about right here.
And that ball was taken away by Julia Rollo and then retaken by Ayers, and then another quick 30-second timeout from Coach Martin. I think CHSM was looking for a held ball, but they do give the timeout to West Michigan. So and in the span of about 10 seconds, we've got 2 timeouts.
Yeah, they're really trying to protect the basketball right here. For those watching at home, when it comes to the timeouts, if the referee hears the call for the timeout while that team has possession of the ball, even though it may take them a moment or so to blow the whistle, as long as they've heard the call made while that team has possession, they award the timeout to the possessing team. So definitely understand why there's might be some confusion on that last play. It looked like the Knights had gotten back in there to try and tie it up between Julia and Aisha. But basically the official is saying, I heard the timeout called from the moment that Hardeman started to fall. And so, or at the Hornet, I don't know where that came from, but uh, airs started to fall, and so that he awards the timeout there.
On the inbounds, Ayers drives the baseline, puts it up, and that's a nice move from Aubrey Ayers. We're used to seeing her connect from deep, but she also showing that she can score from all sides of the ball.
And good coaching right there to call that timeout, because that turns into a 2-point possession for the Hornets. And there's Julia Rollo.
In the far sideline, Rollo short. And East has got to be careful there. They could have potentially called that touch foul like they have so far here in the fourth quarter, but instead West Michigan leading by 2.
And both teams, and
that's going to be the 5th team foul. That's going to send Ayers to the line.
Yeah.
I believe. Well, no, that is the 5th team foul. Yeah, okay. They looked like for a second they were going to inbound from the sideline right in front of the Hornets bench.
And what I was going to say was, play. I don't want to say, afraid of fouling in the game, but you want to play a little more careful, I think, for the next minute and a half or so, and then after that, you got to go.
No good on the second from Ayers. Good box out from Rollo.
Yeah, that was a great box out. The 14U player right there boxing out the varsity player and then able to maintain it. Left-hand layup for Phoebe.
Excellent take from Stein.
And again, able to just keep the game right here, evenly matched almost the entire game.
On the drive, Foster has it knocked out of bounds. Coach Rollo fired up. She's loving the defense from her girls.
Yeah, right now's the time. Both teams need to pick it up defensively.
Ayers. They want the ball in her hands. She spins on Cox. Could have taken the shot. Instead gets it out to Quist. Inside.
And they're going to get Rollo again. She's playing behind the player. That's 4.
Yeah, 4 on Rollo. It's going to send Stonehouse to the line.
And this is why I believe the post defender should always play in front of the post offensive player, because that happens too many times.
So believe it or not, that's Stonehouse's first points of the game. She was one of the all-region players out of the Midwest.
Her and Jenna Rollo both are key contributors to their team. Jenna only has 4 points in the game, all from the free throw line. And Stonehouse has 2 points, and they're from the free throw line.
Ayers hits the deck. They get the ball down low. Rollo put it up amongst about 4 different Hornets players. Foster coming the other way.
You cannot play for fouls. You have to play for good possessions.
Nice backdoor cut from Foster, and Julia Rollo came over the top. Good aggressive defense. I think she was expecting a shot attempt to go up.
And this is what we were talking about. Still plenty of time in the game, but you do not want to get down 3 or 4 possessions right now.
Critical junction of the game. West Michigan has taken control with the free throws. Keying in on the CHSM aggressive defense. Stein gets the rebound on the missed free throw. Still just a 4-point game, but CHSM really needs a basket.
They need a good basket.
And there's one right there. Phoebe Stein showing why she was co-MVP of the Big South region. Hornets having some trouble inbounding. They barely get it into Ayers. And then we're going to have a foul.
Oh, wow. And they're going to get Phoebe. I thought that one might have been a jump, but that's just me.
And we had this conversation yesterday, CJ, on some of our games about how it's hard to maybe not necessarily change what you're doing, but as a player, and you would know this because you were a part of CHSM for a long time and coaching there as well, that when your program or your team has a certain mentality, it's really hard to switch gears. And again, it's easy to say, well, stop fouling, but as an aggressive defensive player, you're going to continue to try to go for steal opportunities. You're going to play good, hard defense. And if the refs are calling it, it can just be really hard to switch that mentality.
And the reality is, a good shot from Jenna, just unable to get it to go. The reality is that when you coach, you are coaching to train your players to do things without thinking, right? That's why you drill. You want your players to be able to do things without having to think about the action required to do that specific technique or action or whatever. Same thing applies for defense. When you teach aggression, your body naturally thinks aggression. And so in the moment when you need to back off the aggression, it's hard to do.
And a traveling violation was called on Swadley in the far sideline. Baseball pass up ahead for Foster. Hits off of the back of her neck area.
Ayers again.
And then Ayers is going to be called for her fourth foul. And that is the fourth team foul for West Michigan. So now a foul either way in the final 3 minutes sends the teams to the free throw line.
And the Knights still right there trying to keep this in striking distance. And again, you can not play for a foul call. I know the referees are calling them, but you just got to play.
And I might be mistaken. That might have been the third foul on West Michigan. I'm not sure if they updated the team foul count. It's hard to tell from my scorebook because I'm not doing fouls by quarter. But either way, the team certainly don't want to be fouling at this juncture of the game. And a traveling violation called on Stonehouse. Good defense from Rollo is going to gain a possession back for the Knights.
The problem that teams have when this kind of stuff happens, right? 8 fouls in the quarter so far. A lot of stoppage of play for travelings.
And we're going to have an off-ball foul. And that's going to be called on Quist. Fourth team foul. Okay, so they are updating it.
It's hard to find rhythm offensively when the whistle's going. And these are consistent calls. These are not, calls that are not debatable here. Fans may think differently, but
and that was out of bounds on Foster.
Julia Rollo was able to get over there and cause just enough hesitation from Foster that
it was a dangerous play from Rollo because there was a little bit of contact there, but not enough to get the foul called, but enough to lose the possession. Stein is going to be bumped and fouled, so she's going to go to the free throw line.
34, 35, 34. Hope Miedema.
First free throw from Stein is short.
2 threes in the first half. She's got 6 points in the fourth quarter, but she hasn't actually shot the ball a lot here in the second half. So still trying to find those shooting legs in the second half.
Ayers is going to come back in for Miedema.
With 4 fouls, so, Coach Martin understanding the moment. This is when you need your best players on the court, and they have to play like it.
Ball in the hand of Ayers. She's being guarded by Swadley. Hornets are able to take some time off the clock if they can hold the possession. It's been hard for either team to really get anything going offensively.
And right now, I don't believe they're holding to stall in any way this late in the game, or this, we're still not extremely late, but.
And we're going to have a foul. We'll see who that's called against. They're going to call that on Cox.
Julia. You can get that on Julia Rollo. Her second.
Okay. And Ayers short to the left on her free throw. Will these missed free throws play a factor in this ball game?
Probably. For somebody, it's going to more than likely play a factor. I expect the Knights to be able to get this here within 1 or 2 points at the minimum.
Ayers able to connect on 1 of 2, like Stein did the other way. 4-point advantage, under 2 to play. Rollo driving to her left in the corner. Cox going to fire up a 3. No good off the right side. Rebound Ayers. Showing off the athleticism up ahead to Foster.
And
she's double teamed.
And
that's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow back with West Michigan.
Beebe did a great job of getting in there and tying it up. Now the Knights are going to have to really clamp down defensively here. Can't worry about the fouls at this point. You got to play basketball and just get after it defensively.
And one thing the Knights have been doing really well is they've been swarming the offensive player at the sidelines, creating that third defender. The Hornets have to be careful. And we're going to have a foul. It looked like it was going to be a jump ball. The ref on the far side called a foul on Phoebe Stein.
That is... That is.
I was waiting for the completion of that thought.
That is.
Another missed free throw for the Hornets.
We are in for, I think, an incredible finish in the next minute and 25 seconds.
Missed both. And then we have a foul the other way. And that's going to be more free throws.
Now, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be a pretty minute and 21 seconds. It could be this both ways, and it could just become a free throw game. At this point, if you're the Knights, quite frankly, I think you have to consider that strategy. Not because your defense can't get you the points, but there's such a struggle to find rhythm within the offense, and you really can't afford for West Michigan to run that little weave dribble handoff.
Rollo connects on both. She's got 4 free throws here in the fourth quarter. That cuts the lead back to 2. West Michigan needs to be able to get the ball inbounds. They chunk it deep. That's going to be touched by Ayers and saved by Foster up ahead to Ayers. So helter-skelter play ends up in the hands of Ayers. And now they're attacking. Foster, she gets bumped by Julia Rollo.
I mean, honestly, I think it's okay. I mean, it's not the way that the Knights want to play, but just recognizing what is going on in the game.
Big free throws from Foster. She went 1 of 2 last time around, or she might have missed both. I'm not sure. Connects on the first. Oh, she did go 1 of 2 last trip. Hits the first on this time around. Extends it back to 3. Can she make it a 2-possession game? She can. Approaching a minute to play in the girls 16. Undisputed. Ball in the hands of Stein. In the corner. Up ahead to Cox. Rollo's going to drive. Spins to her left, and that's going to be a traveling violation as she shifted the pivot foot. Big turnover for the Knights.
Big.
But still a lot of time to play, 52.7 seconds.
Plenty of time. You know you're going to get a foul call as soon as you touch someone, so you might as well just go get it.
And we're going to have a jump ball. Good job by Julia Rollo to get in there.
And that is why you go play aggressively, right? Because you never know when the referee is going to make a call like that. And right now, the jump ends up in the possession of the Knights. So just get after the basketball.
And, CJ, one of the underrated little things is that several possessions ago, Phoebe Stein got a tie-up over here on the far side that led to a jump ball that changed the possession arrow to the Hornets. So even though they weren't able to capitalize that time, it still gained them back a possession.
Now
Foster.
for the Knights, you have to, 30 seconds to go here, you have to go for the ball.
And Cox is called for the foul. That's going to be her third, I believe.
Aisha doesn't like it, but it's okay. You needed the clock to stop there.
Foster's gone 3 from 4 here in the fourth quarter. More pressure free throws. These are the ones you practice for. Misses the first. So either way, after that foul from Cox, it was going to be a 2-possession game anyways. And she connects on the second.
Now, if you're the Knights, you've got to come down and go quick. You're not quite at the mode where you need the 3, but
tough pass.
Man, it's just been a hard road here for the Knights.
Ball inbounded to Quist. They get it up ahead to Foster. They've got Stonehouse on the drive. She puts in the layup. 10 seconds to go.
Pull it right
7-point lead for the Hornets. Stein fires up the 3. No good. Rebound Stonehouse. Gets it out to Foster. Couple seconds to play. Ayers has it. And that's going to be your ball game. The West Michigan Hornets are your 16 and under girls undisputed national champions. Final score, West Michigan 41, Crimson Knights 34. On behalf of CJ Pomeroy, my name is Paul Gilmore. Make sure you stick around for all of the championship action happening here at Drury today. Next up, we've got a boys 10 and under, Northside Lions versus H2I Warriors. Stick around for that. On behalf of this game, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.